Hello, I'd like to welcome on. Wow, 15 frames again. Yeah, that's the gimmick of the series. Hello, I'd like to welcome back to Dark Souls, where I'm playing my Sorcerer character, who hasn't gotten anything at all. So you start out as a fresh source, and you're like, well, where to start my grand journey of sorcery, with magic and spells and excitement? There isn't a lot, unlike the, well, I guess the reason that you can get so many good faith items from a design perspective would probably be that the faith builds, they don't get a lot of faith-based stuff. They don't have a lot of offensive attacks to begin with, and the lightning spear has only 10 uses, which is probably why you get the good stuff. So, as a sorcerer, you can immediately go and buy some good spells. Since you start with 3 slots, I don't think that's a sore investment. Do you start with 3 or 4 slots, or is that something I don't even know, but you start with an extra slot, so you might as well go down here and meet up with your main blacksmith, Rickard of Vinheim. He'll be crafting all your magic and enchanted weapons. If you have more magic scaling, go with enchanted. Enchanted does more damage than magic if you have the scaling, the intelligence for it. Okay, yeah, it doesn't. But this guy also sells a couple of scrolls. Heavy Soul Arrow is not bad. Very good for taking out some tougher foes or knocking the shield out of their hand. Otherwise, just generically good. Nothing bad. Otherwise, if you have... I guess I could pick up the S-Stock, because if you're a wizard, you're probably having that dexterity up your sleeve, and you're like, I could go for a dex weapon that isn't a slick, silly little dagger, because the bandit knife's nice and all, but I need something that walks the walk, so to speak. You'll come over here, and you'll pick up the S-Stock, which is it's a good weapon. It'll serve you well as a shield-based weapon, since you're a mage. You're flimsy, you need a good shield, but you don't have a good shield, do you? You start with this crappy shield, and that doesn't kick it. Well, if you're really interested in getting a shield, this is a suicide tactic supreme, by the way. You can pick up a Dragon Crest shield down the line near a dragon. It will lie next to another item, which is the Sword of Astoria. You can pick up both if you're quick, which I recommend, because the sword is not as good for faith builds, and the shield is just good for magic builds, since you start with a crappy shield. And it's really good against fire damage, and it's 100% physical resistance, and it's highly stable, which makes it very, very good. Otherwise, as a mage, you want to be super careful. And don't forget, let that range work for you. Or run. Just run. You're not going to survive this battle for long. So what am I doing down here? Well, as a mage, you start with some of the flimsiest gear in the game. Ugh, that's flimsy. But of course, like everything in this game, that can be fixed. You can get some non-flimsy gear. But I forgot which elevation it is at. I think it's one more floor below. That's how weak you are, by the way. Oh my god, I got hit by the fucking darts. Great. This has got to be the sorest joke by the sorest creator. Crimson Robe, very powerful, but you really want to get this too. I like how they're still trying to shoot me down. Do I have any? Nope. Well, I don't really care that much about it. That's an instant death zone. So I just picked up a pretty nifty weapon, by the way. You might be like, that can't be worth the effort. You just died. You just kicked the bucket. Well, I kicked the bucket, yes. But look at this armor. It's good. Look at those points. Oh, except the gloves. Wow, really? They're worse than Sorcerer's gauntlets? I never knew that. That's pretty crimson. But these legs, oh, look at that. Look at those stats. Look at those stats score. Look, I got... no, I've got 100. Oh, look at that. Look at that, I got 100 physical defense. That's not what makes this so nice. It's the Tin Banishment Catalyst that does it. If you can use this, holy pachinko. It's not good in terms of spell casting, but look at that suspiciously high physical attack power. You can throw that one away, because the Tin Banishment Catalyst is a weapon. It doesn't look like a weapon, but it sure is a weapon. Don't forget that, as usual, you want to pick up all the goodies around this place, such as the fire bombs and the souls. But yeah, the only real thing you get as a sorcerer is this, which I think you can use instantaneously if you level up your strength. Otherwise, you can always just two-hand it. It's a really good weapon. It's also great for Abyss Sorcery, since Abyss Sorceries are all physical damage, so having that physical damage scaling makes them really powerful. Yeah, look at that, I'm one-shotting dudes as a sorcerer. If that doesn't convince you how good this is, then there's the door. So yeah, that's all I can recommend. I don't think there's a lot of things you can easily get. You can go for the Grass Crest Shield, I guess. Yeah, but as a sorcerer, we don't really need to. Griggs isn't too far away. You can actually go straight to Griggs if you really need to. It's a bit of a way around. It requires you to go through the Valley of the Drake. And well, there's an easier way to do it, actually, but that actually requires me to go past Havel, which might not be a great idea. But yeah, the Taurus Demon isn't that big of a deal, anyway. But yeah, with this thing in your hand, what can really stop you? Is that... I think it's better than the dagger in every regard. Actually, dagger's pretty good for defending. So yeah, as a starting sorcerer, this will carry you through. And look at that, it's also pretty light. You still have some space. So if you're a starting sorcerer, that's all I just don't know. There isn't much for the sorcerer to get. You already start with the sorceries, which are insanely powerful for what they're worth. Although in Dark Souls 2, it's just insane how good it is. Like, the problem with sorceries, though, is that they don't work well against bosses, I've noticed. But yeah, the sorcerer's benefit is in the cupcakes. So now I can actually do my int build. My faith build's doing good, by the way. Beat the living crap out of the gargoyles. On my own, I soloed gargoyles with a build I'm not familiar with. That just shows you how fucking pro that build is. By the way, Lightning Spear one-shots so many things. Approximately 300 damage guaranteed. It's fucking crazy. Ah, man. Yeah, I actually would recommend going there to the Darkroot Garden via the Drake's Valley, because the Wolf Ring will make you very powerful. Wizards, you're probably going to have low endurance and low carryability. You're probably want to equip something other than Havel's Ring or the Ring of Favor and Protection. So having the Wolf Ring can carry you through some of the earlier days, as giving you the ability to do some melee fighting until you get the good super spells. You can one-shot KO deluxe people. And it'll get you through until you get an enchanted weapon, which is probably what you're going to go for. Otherwise, I really don't think there's all that much for the sorcerer to get. Although, it might be the winged spear. And that shield that I talked about, but I don't want to get that right now. Primarily because I really don't care. Like, I've learned to go past chip damage. I'm such a pro that I'm like, you know, chip damage doesn't... Actually, that's not pro, that's just generic common sense. Like, a lot of new people are like, yeah, I don't really care about chip damage. I like I'm just fucking with everyone. Oh, they fuck with me. Awesome. Look at those guys! I managed to get it. Oh, they can inflict bleed on me still? That's pretty sexy. I'm gonna pick up the binoculars anyway, because I like... The binoculars are good, by the way, because there's one thing that a sorcerer might want to pick up if you're not gonna go for a bow. But I really want to see... Can I use... No, you can't use the winged spear. Well, you can two-hand it. You're probably going to go for... Like, Sorcerers and Dexterity works very well. Because Sorcerers... Getting 45 Dexterity will get you more casting speed. It's not much, but it's one of those things that many Sorcerers like, you know, every little bit helps. The Crown of Dusk is good. Power Within mixed with the Red Tear Stone Ring. Holy shit, Super Mega Hyper Mode, and then kabam! It's weird that the Cleric starts with low intelligence and the Mage starts with low faith. But yeah, see you guys next time in the next exciting episode of Dark Souls, which will probably be an interesting boss. Like, I'm not going to do the first 2 bosses. Maybe the Capra Demon, but I'm totally going to... I didn't cheese the Capra Demon with the other guy, by the way. I totally legit at the Capra Demon with the Faith build. The Faith build is remarkably easy to use, I've noticed. Well, it's a Faith Strength build. It's not a pure Faith build. As in, I use strength weapons. But strength weapons are kind of clumsy. They're kind of klutzy. They're difficult to use. They take a bit of knowledge and foresight. Oh yeah, a good tip. If you're going with a Sorcerer or a Faith build, get some Pyromancies, get a fire weapon or just a physical weapon. Because the general rule of armor is either it's good against magic and lightning or it's good against fire and physical. That's a general rule of thumb. Plate armor is good against physical and fire. So if you're Faith or you're Sorcerer, you're going to do magic and lightning pure. So having those alternatives is great. It's also really good for Faith builds to have a physical weapon because of... or magical weapon. Because the creatures in Anor Londo are highly resistant to lightning, if I remember. The Sentinels at the very least, and Ornstein and Schmauch. And mages might want to get another weapon before they go to the Duke's Archive, because the Duke's Archive is filled with enemies that don't care about magic weapons. Just a quick tip of the day. Hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I still like how the way they put their weapons away is shrink them.